So I was finally able to get EX++, and I wanted to share a couple teams which can work. Just like in Phase 1, being able to max out your passives is extremely important and will basically help you shape your teams. The most important passive is the one that lets us heal whenever we get to 100 stacks. The reason why is that basically lets us swap out a healer for more damage. Now I have two teams that work, and they work for different reasons, and I'll kind of explain the interactions and the espers I chose. Now the common espers between them are very simple. It's YC, a Resonance 2, Chai, and Gabrielle. And in case you're worried, I'm pretty sure that you can go ahead and get EX++ without YC or Gabrielle being involved once you get more of the passives unlocked. The reason why YC is such a good Esper for this boss is because of the mark he leaves from his passive. His mark means that whenever you hit the boss with an AoE or even single target, there will be a follow-up attack doing additional damage and building up more stacks. Next up, we're going to be using Flower Girl because of her crazy AoE damage and the fact that she counterattacks, and she's a judge Esper, so she's perfectly suited. Then we're using Gabrielle, and it's mostly because of her AoE defense break. We want to make sure we can apply a defense break against the boss very consistently, and she can do that. Then we're using Ira for two reasons. The first one is Speed Break is probably the most important debuff you can apply to the boss, and she does that extremely well. And the second reason is that her passive lets our other espers take turns quicker. Lastly, we're using Chai. And the reason why is because he makes everyone better at their jobs by reducing their cooldowns. And the way we maintain our attack up is because of the passive tree against this boss. One of the things state that when we get to 100 stacks, some of our espers will get attack up, and that just plays well with Unky. So this is the other team, and we're actually using Falcon here for a couple reasons. The first reason is his speed lead, which will scale better than attack when we get a lot of our passive tree filled out. Then his passive, which is really good because it allows us to counterattack the boss and the minions constantly while also increasing our AP. And lastly, Speed Break is one of the most important debuffs you can apply to the boss, and he does that really well. And then for this team, we're actually using Apollo because he can turn cycle really well, and he does a lot of AoE attacks. So we're going to take a look at the first team to kind of see how it all comes together. So right from the start, we want to go ahead and try to get a speed break going. Here's when YC adds his passive, and you can see that mark going, and he will continue to do follow-up attacks. In the beginning of the fight, you'll notice that your guys will kind of automatically target the boss, but after a while, they'll stop doing that, and they'll just generally go for whatever target has the least amount of HP. This is why it's so good to have someone who automatically targets the boss, even on AoE attacks, and this is also why you want to build a speedy team. This is why we bring Unky with us, is because he reduces so much of the cooldowns on our team, and we're able to function and have so much more uptime on our skills. So I think you have an idea of how it works. I'm going to go ahead and speed it along and put on some music, and I'll meet you at the end. So at the end, it's not really that clean, but it does get the job done, and over the next couple of days, we're going to have more passives unlocked, and those are just going to boost this score even higher. So if you're curious about how the other team performs, it's actually really comparable. So this is the score for that, and you see it really wasn't much of a difference. I think that means that there's a lot of different approaches you can take to get EX++. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And if you have any teams that work for you and you want to share them, please leave them below. As always, thank you for watching.